Okay, this is Precalculus. I am the sensei, and we are doing a Chapter 1 quiz review. Please, if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the like button. It helps me a lot, and anytime I do a new video, you could see new videos of mine if you subscribe. Hello, Sensei. I'm a YouTuber. Okay, so let's do this, shall we? Where's my marker thing? Oh, okay, you guys with me? So let's first solve for the slope. So did you guys hear as I review this quiz? Can't say quiz without having a creepy smile. As I review this quiz, please answer. Like, if you're stuck, like, this is your time. This is your time. This isn't my time. I'm like almost blocked all this out to teach you nothing else but this stuff. This is your time. So every time, if you don't understand something, you got to ask. You got to ask your neighbor. You got to look at your notes. If you don't understand how to do this, it's not going to be good for the test, quiz, right? You know what I mean? This is your time. After I show you to do this, you need to do these at home. I'm telling you this. You're going to have a question that gives you 2 points and tells you to find an equation in slope-intercept form for those 2 points. You know what's on the quiz. You know what I mean? So here we go. So after I do this, well, I'll talk about it. But anyway, first we must solve for the slope. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You guys with me there? You page extender. So let's call this point 1 and this point 2. It doesn't matter. You call that point 1, that point 2. But now I know what my x1 and y1 is. I know what my x2 and my y2 is. Raise your hand. I already got the slope, Sensei. You don't have to go through this too slowly. Okay. So those of you who are not raising your hand, I mean, you guys raise your hand good so I know, because that determines how the pace of the class is going to go. If you all know how to do this, you don't need me to show you how to do it. However, y2, negative 20 minus y1, minus 16, over x2, 14 minus x1, negative 10. Now, it's very important. I guess some of you can figure this out, but I like to do the skip, change, change. Skip, and then you do the change the sign, and then you change the sign, right? Whenever you see a subtraction, you do the skip, change, change. Skip, change the subtraction to an addition, and this positive 16 becomes a negative 16. Why did I do that? Because I can see I'm really adding, even though I'm subtracting, I'm adding 2 negatives. If you add 2 negatives, it means you add. This, I don't know if this is helping or this is like whatever, Sensei, we already know this. Skip, change, it says subtraction, change to addition. Skip, change, change. Oh, I have 2 positives, which means I add. 14 plus 10 is 24. Now let's reduce our fraction. What are they both divisible by? 6? Okay, 36 divided by 6 is negative 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Can I reduce it some more? 6. So keep, if you don't, someone said 12. Yeah, 12 is the biggest one. But if you only do 6, then you divide again. What's the next one? Divide by 2. Negative 3 over 2. That's my slope. Okay. Now, let's do point slope form. Okay. Point slope form. Once we have that, we go y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, just because it's 1, y1, it's just because it's just the 1 point. I can use this point or that point, even though that's labeled 2. It doesn't matter which point, you'll get the same answer. I'm going to do this one. Y minus, what did I put in for my Y1? Someone yell it out. What did I put in? Negative 20, because I said this one over here. Y minus negative 20 equals M. What did I plug in for my M? Negative 3 over 2 times X minus what? You got, since we're doing this one, I got to do the 14, right? Since I did the negative 20, if you plug that one in, it'll mess you up. Okay. All right. Now, subtraction negative, kind of confusing. So I'm going to do the skip, change. Y plus 20, much easier to see for me than Y minus negative 20. This X minus 14 makes sense. All right, this is Y plus 20 equals, what do I do next? Distribute the 3 halves. What's 3 halves? Negative 3 halves times X. Very good. And negative 3 halves times negative 14. Did you guys solve that? Multiplied over there, right? These can reduce, but should I reduce it? I don't know what's easier for you guys. I can divide both of these by 2, but I'm going to say negative 3 and 14. So 3 times 14, 42. Positive 42 over 2, right? Because 2 times 1 is 2. 42 divided by 2. So this becomes negative 3 halves times negative 14 is positive 21. And this will always be a whole number. I will do a fraction on the test, so make sure you know how to multiply the fraction times the number. And then what's the last thing I need to do? Tell your group. What's the last thing I'm calling you? What's the last thing? Okay, what do I do? Minus 20? I haven't even taken roll yet. That goes away. Y equals negative 3 over 2x. 20 minus 21 minus 20. And that's all you got to do. How many of you got that the first time without me showing you how to do it? Okay. So now you know what to do. I'm going to put it on the canvas. You can watch it on canvas, but practice this. You got to practice this. You know what's going to be on the test. This is the first thing that's going to be on your test. Kind of hard. This is math 1. However, I think this is a very difficult problem because you have to remember how to do all these things. And remember, it's been 4 years for some of you since you've taken math 1. Okay. All right. Okay. Quiz review. Okay, graph the function from the warm-up from before. So now you have to graph it. You guys have graph paper? Raise your hand if you need graph paper. No, I need to talk to the other math. About that. So I don't know. I haven't even. So how if I say this? Be ready for not to use those. And if I change my mind, I'll let you know. Otherwise, if that's too fishy, I'll just. Is that okay? All right. Do you have graph paper on the screen? Good one. Oh, good one. Graph paper. You guys got to get graph paper. I told you guys to get graph paper. Did I say that? Yes, I did. Is that it? Get graph paper. going to help you so much. You can do all problems on graph paper. Oh, there's all that. All right, go ahead and graph it. I'm going to take roly roll while you guys are graphing. Uh-oh. Are you still there? Why do they do that if I'm recording? I'm recording the call. Okay. Christopher Guerra. Anthony Velasquez is absent. All right, I just have Isabella Romero, Anthony Velasquez, and Christopher Guerra. Okay. All right. Y equals 3x plus 1. I will check your work. Hey, go ahead and fast forward until we get to whatever time. Okay, anyway. Hey, make sure, what do you guys know about the slope? Negative, right? Negative slope goes down. Make sure you use a straight edge also. That's why, guys, you use a straight edge for the graph. Who needs a ruler? On the quiz, you need either your ID card or a ruler. Who needs a ruler here? 4 of you? Who needs a ruler here? You guys already kind of practice using the blue and green. Who needs it over here? 2, 3, 2. Who needs a ruler over here? 1, 2. Ruler over here. Ruler over here. 2. Please roll over here. Please roll over here. All right. Camel eyeballs. Who you guys got? Okay, so the +1 means I go up 1 on the y-axis. The -3/2, right? It's negative. Positive gets down. Positive is the right hand up. Negative is going this direction, right hand down. Spank, spank. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. How many points do you need to make a line? You only need 2. Now use a scale. That's ugly. I can't do straight edge on the TV. I tried it before. Doesn't work. But label it. Y equals -3/2 x plus 1. Please label your graph. X-axis, y-axis, and we need our scaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In other words, put the numbers. See, I only put 5. Fifth one 5. You just need to put 5 to see that if the fifth one's 5, that means each one increases by 1, right? So you guys have all that stuff. You have the scaling, you have the arrows, you have the X and the Y. Put all that stuff on. Put all of it on. Okay. Important. I'm moving on. Here we go. That's no problem. So if you can do the first one, the second one, third one, boom. Those 3 problems. Okay. This one's not so bad, I don't think. Evaluate. F of x equals x squared plus 2x plus 5. Find f of negative 2. Solve for f of negative 2. No, more was the first one. I'm sorry, I'm not very clear. You guys should ask for a real teacher instead of me. You know what I mean? Not distracting you. I'll tell you later. I'm supposed to be helpful, not hurtful. Okay. Hello, how are you? Oh, thank you so much. I like your hair. When did you change it?
I'm trying to put platinum.
Oh, platinum's like white. Very good. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Somebody so I can see, right? If you don't mind. All right. Okay. So this is the x, right? So it says to replace the x, I'm going to rewrite everything. F of negative 4 equals, and I write it like this. Instead of an x, I put a blank, parentheses, blank squared plus 2 blank plus 5, or space, should I say space? Space squared plus 2 times space, and I'm putting in negative, let me say in Spanish, corazon in there. 4. 1, 2, 3, corazon, 5. So put negative 4 in there, and then you solve it, right? Did you guys get it already? What did you guys get? 13. Who got 13? Raise your hand if you got 13. I know if I need to move on. Okay. So order of operation says I do exponents first. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16, right? 2 times negative 4 is negative 8 plus 5. And then you go 16 minus 8 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. And that's all you got to do for that one. Risha, no problem, Sensei. I'll get this one. But I'm still going to practice it 4 times tonight, right? Tonight, when you go home, you're going to see this problem. You're going to put it down. Eric, look here. You're going to get a blank sheet of paper, and you're going to do it all over again. Don't just look at it. You're going to blank sheet of paper, and you're going to solve the whole thing over again. 4 times. Corazon times. Okay. Now look at this one. F of x equals x squared plus 5. Find f of x plus 2. So the first thing I would do is, and I'll have you guys go like this. You go x squared plus 5, right? X squared plus 5. What do I put in there instead of the space? What do I put in there? X plus 2. So when I was a kid, I used to watch this thing called Sesame Street. And there was this character, his name was Mr. Noodle. And Mr. Noodle would do things wrong, right? Like Mr. Noodle would take the ruler, right? And he'd put it in his eye. And they'd say, "No, Mr. Noodle," right? You guys with me? Or Mr. Noodle would take the trash can and like put it on his head. And they'd say, "No, Mr. Noodle." Or Mr. Noodle would go on the chair, and instead of sitting on the chair, he would swim on the chair, right? And they'd say, "No, Mr. Noodle." You guys with me? So I want to be Mr. Noodle right now. And you guys are going to say, "No, Mr. Noodle." Look a little washed out. You guys ready? Mr. Noodle. "No, Mr. Noodle." Did anyone do that? You guys remember? Let me erase it. X squared plus 2. How many of you got the correct answer? I think I did it right. I didn't do it that way, Sensei. X plus 2 squared is x plus 2 times x plus 2. Or, what we like to say is, you guys remember this? X plus 2 times x plus 2. Fill in the box, figure out the answer. I'll give you 30 seconds to do it. Maybe a minute. Go. Unless you already got it. Redo the box. Do the thing. If you think you have the answer, raise your hand. I'll come and check, give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay. Okay, yeah, and then that. Right? But that's right. You can multiply. Oh, I was checking for the right answer, the whole correct answer. Solve the whole thing. That's correct. The whole thing. If I say they're correct, check their work, make sure everyone else is the same. That is correct. Yes. That's true. That's correct. So check, show them all your work. You don't have to know right now. You know what that is? You don't know.
I do know where to get it.
Okay, this is your original question, right? F of x equals x plus. Okay, let me go back. Does this one make sense?
Yeah.
What's this telling me? To plug in -4, right? Okay. In there's a -4. But instead of negative, it seems weird. Instead of -4, I'm giving you an x plus 2. So it seems weird. However, all this is saying, this is an x, and I'm substituting instead of -4, I just put in, you can put in anything. I can put a giraffe in there. If I put f of giraffe, that'd be a picture of a giraffe squared plus 5. I don't know what that means, but that's all what that's saying. So this is saying, now instead of putting x, put an x plus 2. So here's an x. So instead of x, I put an x plus 2. And x plus 2 squared, you know what 3 squared means? 3 times 3, which is 9. X plus 2 squared is x plus 2 times x plus 2. And the way we multiply that is we do this thing. X plus 2 times this. It's one way to do it. Some of us like to go x times x, x times 2, right? The FOIL. You guys know the FOIL method. You can multiply it out that way. But this is like a box. You multiply these. X times x is what? X squared. X times 2 is 2x. X times 2 is 2x. And what goes here? I say in Spanish? Corazón. 2 times 2 is 4. You guys with me so far? Raise your hand if you're with me. I'm with you, Sensei. Okay, so we go. So now this is this. X squared. 2x plus 2x. What's that? 4x plus 4. And then don't forget to add the plus 5, right? Because this is equal to this. I still have to add plus 5. You just say, what's 4 plus 5? X squared plus 4x plus 9 is f of x plus 2. So that is your final answer. And I saw a lot of you got that. X squared plus 4x plus 9. F of x plus 2 is x squared plus 4x plus 9. Raise your hand. I think I could do pretty good on this question. If I had this question, I'd get it right on the test. Okay, practice it still. Okay. This one seems kind of hard, but it's actually easy. But let's see if that statement is true for you guys. Okay, tell your neighbor how you think you would solve this problem. If you're not talking, it must mean you know the answer and I'll call on you. Go. Talk to your group. Go. How would you approach this? What would you do? Can you divide by 0? Okay, that's part of your answer.
Or anything. Something like that.
Okay, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone look up here. Does anyone have an answer they would like to share? Or does anyone come up with a solution? What is the domain of this function? All right, Jackson, what do you got? Ooh, close. I like exactly what you're saying. I'm going to start with the first half that you said. Jack said anything that is not a negative. And she's right, the first half. It can be anything except what? Except 8. Negative 8. So how would we say that? And first of all, tell the people in your group why it cannot be negative 8. Go. Why can it not be negative 8? If you're not talking, I'm going to call on you. Go. Why can it not be negative 8? Okay. What is negative 8 plus 8? 0. You can't have 0 in the denominator. That's how you do it. If you want to figure that out, you can go like this. X plus 8 cannot equal 0. And you just solve for x, right? This can equal 0. You subtract 8. You say x cannot be negative. If you can't solve it in your head, you can just go like that. So what is our answer? The domain is any x that we can put in. We can put in any x except for negative 8. And how do we say we can put in any x? All, I have it written down. All real numbers except x cannot equal -8. And that's all you've got to do. All real numbers except x cannot equal -8. That was pretty straightforward, I think. You all should be able to get that one correct. All right. Can I move on? I'm still recording. I am recording. Okay. All right. Here's this one. You guys still might be intimidated by this, but I don't think it's that hard. I mean, it's kind of hard, but if you understand what you're looking at, it's not hard. So this is a challenge for some of you. So you have two graphs. F of x equals 2x minus 5 when x is what? Bigger than 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but not 0, but put 0 in this one anyway. This one, f of x is -1/4 x plus 1. Oh, sorry, this is smaller than 0, right? This is -3, -2, -1. This one is bigger and equal to 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So let's go like this. All right. Are you guys writing it? I'll let you guys write. I'll let you guys pause and catch up. I'm going too fast. Are you going to join CSF? California Scholarship Fund? Scholarship opportunity. F-113. Yeah. So, feedback? And then there's the health center. If you guys need to go, you can click on those. The nest. Does that stand for something? Yeah. Just call it the fancy name. Okay, here we go. Let's do f of x equals -2x minus 5. Okay, I'm going to do a table. X, y. Okay, what number should I put in here for my x? Yeah, anything less than 0. So let's do, how would I do this? -4 and 0. Let's put 0. Even though it's not equal to 0, let's put the 0 in there. We want the 0. It's not equal to 0, but we'll put the 0 there to do our circle thing. And then on this side, I'm going to write it. I'll do f of x equals -1/4 x plus 1. And so this one, we'll do x. Now, because it's 1/4, I'm going to put numbers that are divisible by 4. Because it's 1/4. Or, yeah. So I'm going to do 0, 4, 8, 12. I might not be able to fit the 12 in. So this is x is greater than or equal to 0. Then you just plug the numbers in and graph. I plug these into this one and these into that one. Some of them might not fit. -2 times -4 -5. So I got 3 for -4. 1. And you see they decreased by 2. -1. -3. -5. 1. The points that I got. Anyhow, you guys can plug those in on your own and figure them out. If you need help with that, let me know. But this one, we have, so just plug in the points. -4, 3. I'll make this black. I should have made it black. But -1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. There's a point. -1, 2, 3, 1. -1, 2, -1. And then 0, negative. Okay, now this is not equal to 0, right? This is less than 0, but we got to put the 0 there. So we do -0, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do an open circle. We'll go like this and put an arrow. That's that half. And this one I have to plug in these numbers. I'll do it in blue. 0, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -1. And then 12, anyway, 12, -2. You don't need to do this far, 12, -2. You don't have to put that, but I'm putting it anyway. And then this will look like this. And it'd look like that. A little bit of a cumbersome problem. When I say cumbersome, it's like you guys, I'm assuming most of you get it, but it's just a lot of stuff going on at once. Fifth period robotics. Through the fifth period? It'll be easier for you to grasp, easier for me to bring. Make sure you get the both of an arrow. Both of it stops. arrow here. Starts right there, no arrow. Hey, you guys, because this function tells me it stops right here, it can't be bigger than 0. You have to have an open circle. No arrows. That means it goes past this point. It's wrong. So an open circle, and here, no arrows, because it starts right here at greater than 0. So a point, no arrows. No arrows. Okay? And I'm like looking at what you guys are doing. I think I'll be here at lunch tomorrow if you guys want help with this problem. We'll go over it. You guys are capable of doing this. It just takes time and effort and all that stuff. Right? Takes but it'll be on your quiz. All right, everyone, yes. Yes, everyone look at me. Look at me. Raise your hand. I'm going like this. I get it. I don't get it. Just those two, nothing in between. I get it or I don't get it, okay? If you kind of don't get it, then you go down, look at your thumb. I get it or I don't get it. Ow. You know what I asked? Get it or don't get it? One of those. Right? Okay, half get it, half don't. Come at lunch. We'll move on. Well, I'll do a mini lesson if you guys want a mini lesson on this. I got to move on though. Okay, even odd. I said there wasn't going to be on the quiz, but this will be on the quiz. Even odd functions. It will be on the quiz. So this is in your notes, but remember, even f of negative x equals f of x, odd f of negative x equals negative f of x. I wish. So this is the Schwarzenegger themed class. Okay. In general.
Can you tell by the number?
What's that?
Can you tell by the exponent?
Yes, because it's an even exponent. Usually they're even. However, let's plug in and see. Remember, even f of negative x equals f of x. Odd, right? They equal, right? If you plug in the negative, it should be a positive. Odd, f of negative x equals negative f of x. You plug in the negative, it becomes negative. So let's plug in f of negative x. Okay, you guys know if you square something, it ends up being positive, right? Do you know the same thing? If whatever it's even, it ends up being positive, right? You guys with me there? So look here. F of negative x equals, what's negative x times negative x and negative x? X to the fourth plus 5. So if you look here, x to the 4 plus 5 is this, f of x, right? So guess what? F of negative x equals f of x. Guess what? Even, right? Now, as much as you're stressing out, you're saying, what the hell? As long as this is even and you have a number here, it's going to be even. If you'd have another x, it throws it off. But if I just have a even number and just a plus something and nothing in parentheses, it's going to be even. Okay, so you see even, I want to put even, right? Okay, let's do this one. Even. Okay, remember, even. F of negative x equals f of x. Odd. F of negative x equals negative f of x. Well, what does that mean? Guess what? What are you thinking? If you saw this, if you were to guess on the test, what would you guess what this is? Odd. Let's do it. Why? Odd, no parentheses. F of negative x equals, instead of x, I put a negative x. Anything to the cubed root, if it's negative, what does it end up being? Negative. This will be f of negative x equals negative x cubed minus 1. This is f of negative x equals negative. Like I can't distribute negative x cubed plus 1. Which should be an odd. Oh, this is actually neither, because the negative does not equal that. It's a neither. So this negative does not equal this. It should equal, it should equal negative x cubed minus 1, right? It should be, if I plug in that, it should make the whole thing negative. However, it doesn't. It just makes it, if I distribute the negative, it's x cubed plus 1. So that is going to be neither. Even though I said it's not, that is neither. I hear your question. I'm thinking about it. Basically you're saying explain it in a better way. Hurry on time. Give me a second to figure out if I can figure out an easier way to explain it.
Like they lost me at distributed and.
No, I know. I'm guessing I lost you at probably this and this, right? Okay. So you understand that this equals this, right? Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm taking out the negative. Do you understand this step here? How that works, right? I factor out the negative. Now, what this says is that if I plug in a negative x, it should change everything to negative. So if I plug in it should be g of negative x. But if I plug in negative x, then the result should be negative x cubed minus 1, parentheses, right? But I don't, when I distribute out, it's negative x cubed plus 1. So it's not this, nor is it this. So it's neither. Yes, Mike. But why is it plus 1? Because if I factored out the negative. If I put the negative back in, that would be negative and that would be negative. I factored it out. I'm sorry if I find a better way to explain this. Don't stress about this problem on the test because I know a lot of you are. I'll see if I can figure something else out. But it should be neither. And then this one, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Neither, because it's a square root. If it's a square root, it's going to be neither. It's not even or odd, right? So anyway, there you go. So study for those problems on the quiz. I want to see if I can find out a better way to explain that one. But